controlling our words. God forbid we come out and have an opinion. God forbid we come out and have an opinion. And there's nothing that I've said that's been wrong. And I damn sure haven't violated anybody's, I haven't bullied anyone. I definitely haven't harassed or cyberbullied anyone. But fuck Toilet Paper USA. They definitely don't want people being able to have an opposite opinion. There's nothing that I've said in that live stream that should be deemed as violating any policy. But YouTube is so full of shit with their little policies, right? And I've had, even in the past, I've had like, don't act like Donald Trump doesn't have like a social media arm and these MAGA supporters that go out and not only flag videos that go against what they say or what they're out, deeming as fact and all of that. They have like these armies that will come in and like comment crazily. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. When he was running the first time back in 2016, man, I was getting inundated with MAGA support comments. It was insane. Every single live stream, to the point that I had to go put keywords in my studio to block like the word MAGA, for example, right? It's crazy. That part, Emmanuel. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat, man. There's absolutely nothing that I've said that should be considered as violating any policy, unless you're going to tell me that I don't have the right to speak my opinion. Like, so now we got Google/YouTube, right? Supporting this bullshit. Listen, as I was saying before, anybody that is still supporting Donald Trump, especially any brown or black folk that are supporting Donald Trump after his racist meme, I don't know what's wrong with you. I really don't know what's wrong with you. Something's got to be wrong with you. That's like, somebody pissing on me and then telling me it's raining. How am I supposed to be okay with that? How am I supposed to be okay with that? How am I supposed to be okay with the fact that you've got some people that can come out here and say whatever they want? And you got little old me. I come out here and express an opinion and I get fucking pulled down. God forbid you express a different opinion. But I believe we're back. So what happens is they killed the stream, right? And then they brought it back, because what they do is they get these little flags, and then these moderators will go in and listen. Well, what's going on in this live stream? It was just flagged down. Well, I don't hear anything crazy. They're looking at the timestamps being flagged, and nothing I'm hearing is, actually against any policy. And that's why the stream came back. It's unbelievable to me. Again, I feel so disappointed. Just overall, I feel just ick. I feel an ick in my spirit. We are, even across the world, America used to be looked at as one of the most, one of the strongest countries in the world. And there's so much like shame that we get now from even other countries. They think to themselves, I promise they think to themselves, how could all of those people turn around and put that man back in office a second time? What do you all think Trump's going to do when his time is over after this next time? If Trump had it his way, he would continue his presidency and pass it on to one of his kids when he left, like a dictatorship. Dead ass. Now, let me get on into this because I've already been here for 56 minutes. The Epstein files. Some of you all have asked me, how can I read some of these Epstein files? JMail.world. JMail.world. You can go to the DOJ and look at the Epstein files that are dropped directly on the DOJ site. They're all in PDFs, which, listen, why is that insane? Let me tell you something about PDFs. A PDF file, when you open it up, you're looking at an image. It's very difficult to crawl an image for text, okay? I truly believe the Department of Justice, from a technical perspective, released the files in the most difficult, challenging way possible, okay? All in PDFs. And luckily, we have some techies like myself who have taken these Epstein files, crawled them with certain tools, exported out the information within the images into text so that they're searchable, okay? If that makes any sense to you non-techies. And there's a couple of different hubs, so to speak, where you can actually go and view these in a much more pleasant way. And one of those methods is JMail.world. What is JMail.world? Well, JMail.world has been publishing the data that the Department of Justice has dropped, the Epstein file dumps, and putting it in a beautiful format that we can all appreciate, okay? Something that probably 99% of us are pretty used to. Most of us have a Gmail account. And if you have a Gmail account, you are very familiar with the format. All right? You're very familiar with the format. So the beautiful thing here is we've got the Epstein, the emails, all right? We got photos. Oh, yeah, it's more than just emails. We got photos, people. Yeah, thousands and thousands of photos. Photo after photo. Prince Andrew is in this dump here. Look at Epstein. I mean, photo after photo. Ghislaine Maxwell, other celebrities, politicians. But it isn't just emails and photos. See, you got to make sure that you hit the ticker. All right. We got J Drive, where we can look at all of these beautiful documents. We can download them. We can actually view them. All right. And this includes the newest ones, all right, that have also been dumped. They've got filters here for the least redacted, most redacted. You can sort by victim category, affiliate category, third party, contact, location, date category. But listen, it ain't just photos. We got mail, photos, drive, J flights. We're looking at Epstein's flight history with a freaking map, so we could actually visibly see his little trips. He took over 4,292 flights, over 10,000 hours of flight time. We've got JVR. This is a tour of Epstein's property. So you can go to the JVR section and actually view the property and images. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We also have Amazon. Huh. These were orders that Epstein made from Amazon that was extracted from the receipts that were sent to his email. Yeah, that's how deep it gets. We're literally doing things like tracking his Amazon purchases and et cetera, et cetera. Look, he bought a pelvic clock device for chronic hip and lower back pain relief. That's weird. His Amazon purchases is an interesting thing. Listen, there to me, you all, and I'm gonna throw this out here because I don't see a lot of other people saying this. I think that Epstein was also an intelligence asset. You may have heard some information about Epstein potentially getting information on Prince Andrew, who's now had his title stripped, right? He's now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He's had all his titles stripped from his brother, King Charles over there, the second. I believe he's the second, right? And somehow a lot of this information has wound up in the hands of Putin and Russian intelligence. And yeah, that's a big concern. And it's also spoke about in these Epstein files. Again, the Department of Justice did such a horrible job. And I really wish some of y'all wouldn't have spoke out when they dropped their first load and thought they was redacting things. And they only highlighted the words so that you couldn't see it. But if you literally just put your mouse and highlighted the text, you could actually see the redaction. I wish people wouldn't have said anything so they could have kept doing that. But listen, it doesn't matter because there's so much data here. You got one file that'll come out redacted, and then you'll have another file that may be a reply to the email and the reply is not redacted because somebody probably didn't put two and two together, or they have different people reviewing the data before it's dumped, etc. So we've been getting names like crazy. Listen, let me give you all a little helpful tip here. When you go to jmail.world, I just showed you can go view his photos. You can get a tour of Epstein Island. You can look at his Amazon purchases. All kinds of stuff, right? Something to pay attention to when you're perusing the emails. Number one, you can absolutely search them. There is a search engine built in. Okay. And pay attention to people under his contacts. Oh yeah. These are people. Look, we got Deepak Chopra. We got Elon Musk at the top. These are communications between him and Elon Musk. Email after email. I'm at page 2 at this point. Going back to 2009. All the way through 2012. A whole lot of comms or communications, right? We got Ghislaine and her communications with Epstein. It's sorted by date if we want it. Right here. Can I have Alice in an address as I'd like to invite them to my party? And what I really love is how they was changing their froms and to names, right? But pay attention. Peter Thiel, Alan Dershowitz. Oh, is that Bill Gates? Wow. So this is communications that involve Bill Gates, founder of a legend in the tech community, right? Steve Bannon. Oh, he's got a lot of shit going on with Steve Bannon. Like there's 6 pages of this. And listen, this is only what the Department of Justice has dropped so far. There's still more dumps to be done, all right? So pay attention to the people's part, the topics part. And it's not just you hitting the inbox, all right? Let's be really clear about that. Sent items is a very important folder. What is the sent items folder? The sent items folder is a folder structure that takes all the emails that you've actually sent that left your outbox and went out of draft status into sent status. These are actual emails that he sent out. So that can be a very interesting thing. Some things you will see in sent items, you'll never see them in the inbox, especially if it's not an email he's actually replying to. So note that and keep that in mind. If you're not searching for it, or if it's like a message that he just sent out and he wasn't actually replying, it would only be in the sent items folder. We got mentions of Kellyanne Conway. It's no secret to me, just even based on his emails that I've went through, the ones that I know I've went through. I don't think Epstein was as loving of Donald Trump in his last days, even before he went to jail that second time and ended up, allegedly unaliving himself. You can tell that based on the emails that he was even sending, right? Like, they're all jumping ship, for example, talking about the Trump administration during his first term, I should say. I truly believe that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset. I don't know if he worked for United States intelligence, MI5, Russia. This man was a teacher that ended up becoming a uber billionaire and financier, disgraced financier. I believe there was people in the intelligence community paying Epstein for information on people like Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, and others. And listen, I just want to. I had a thought here. Starred email. A starred email in Gmail is a message that oh wow, look at this. Look at this. Is considered a favorite. For some reason, Jeffrey Epstein favorited these particular messages. So pay special attention to that. There's a reason why you say, oh, this is an email I need to track. Email is very important. But look at the top here. A message from Mark Epstein that says, hey, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Do you think that if Epstein really loved Donald Trump, was all lovey-dovey, that he would have been exchanging these sorts of emails, whatever? So look, Epstein gets an email from Mark Epstein. Mark says, hey, how you doing? A while back, you mentioned that you are pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy Donald up to now? Jeff responds, all good. Bannon with me. Steve Bannon. Mark responds, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Ouch. Again, a starred email is an email that Epstein himself favorited. Mark Epstein, pay particular attention to that name. Again, that's a family member of his, and yeah, got a lot. Look, privileged. Privileged. There's also a folder structure, okay, called attachments. And if you select that, you will get to see any email that Epstein, you know, whether he sent or received, that had an attachment in it. Any email that had an attachment, right? When I tell you that nobody has even had the ability to go through each and every one of these yet, because there's so many files. And there's something very interesting in all of them. I've been finding all sorts of interesting things, right? God, could you imagine? Could you imagine if someone got hold to your private emails? And listen, every vlogger in the world should be looking at these files. And I heard that J World has been getting like 7-8 million hits an hour. Yeah. 7-8 million hits an hour to the website. Again, jmail.world is how you can view the Epstein files, including the latest dumps. Again, the PDF files are crawled and converted into text and produced, given a Gmail feel, because this is very familiar for a lot of people. They know how to traverse Gmail fairly easily, right? So again, make sure you take note of the sent items, the starred and attachments folder, and as well as the people, which is anything, like Elon Musk, just as an example. Anytime Elon Musk is mentioned, it is going to be there, right? But again, you can also search. If I do a search, let's do a search for Trump. It was 5808. There's 5,800 emails just with Trump in it. Okay. Trump. If Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset, right? Is it possible that Putin has other dangerous things on Trump? You remember like the story that we all heard about Trump going to Moscow for the Miss America pageant and having like 5 or 6 hookers or something like that, and them peeing on him or him peeing on them or something like that. He likes his golden showers, apparently. But what about other things? I mean, we definitely recall Trump talking about how much he loved Epstein, right? How he'd known him for umpteen years. He's a great guy and he loves girls on the younger side. Matter of fact, look, Landon Thomas Jr. had communiques with, from the New York Times with Jeffrey Epstein. Ooh, ouch. Now, everyone's coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump because of this. Quote, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. Donald Trump said that in an interview. We've all heard the clip. Look what look what Epstein said to that when he was asked about it by Landon Thomas, the reporter. Quote, "Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen?" Mm. Mm. And there's no doubt in my mind, that there are photos that exist of Donald Trump with girls in bikinis in Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen on his island. There's no question in my mind. They're there. They exist. The Department of Justice would never put those out. And then today, Ghislaine Maxwell was pulled before the House. And she invoked her Fifth Amendment. She invoked her Fifth Amendment when she was asked about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Why do you think she invoked her Fifth Amendment? Man, listen, Ghislaine Maxwell knows good and well. She didn't say, Donald Trump didn't do anything. She invoked her Fifth Amendment because she didn't want to incriminate herself, right? But the truth is, we know Ms. Maxwell thinks she's going to get a pardon from Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, if I was in Ghislaine Maxwell's position, I'd be scared to death that my life could be potentially ended based on all of the stuff that has come out. That's someone who could seriously be in some real serious danger if she was to blow the whistle, so to speak. But she's serving a 20-year sentence, and she's still over there invoking her Fifth Amendment instead of throwing Donald Trump up under the fucking bus. We all know. She wants that pardon. And the only one that can get her out of prison is Trump. Do you think he'll do it? If he does do it, I promise you he's going to wait till the last day of his term. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because if he was to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon, that pretty much is that gives off a certain type of look. I mean, Diddy's still sitting in jail right now. He hasn't gotten his pardon yet, right? Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? Mm. And then when you look at the tentacles that Jeffrey Epstein had with people too, the contacts he had with all these uber rich and famous people, it's crazy. It almost seems structured. Again, I firmly believe that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset of some kind. I don't know who he was working for. Mossad, could have been. Mossad is, I've mentioned 2 or 3 different countries. But think about it. To get some dirt on some of the most powerful people in the world, Epstein would have been a perfect target for an intelligence organization. This guy's sitting here with photos of Donald Trump and girls in bikinis in his freaking kitchen. That's how comfortable Trump was with this man. And now, of course, Donald Trump has publicly distanced himself, right? I mean, he now talks really bad about Jeffrey Epstein now. But again, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. These files are juicy. Juicy, juicy, juicy. And if you want a way to traverse these files, you definitely want to go to JMail. It is not pleasant to have to pull up PDF after PDF after PDF on the Department of Justice's site. Again, the way they released these was very challenging technically. And JMail makes it so much easier and more pleasant to sit here for hours upon hours, right? Traversing and looking at this information and at this data and searching this data. Again, we're talking about emails, photos, J Drive, his flights, over 10,000 hours of flight data, JVR, which again is a tour of his home, and J Amazon, which is his purchases that he made on Amazon, which can be very telling. Can be very, very telling. I mean, look at this one here. Look at this one here. Is it, and this is from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff. Is it a coincidence that the Russian that bought the house in Palm Beach and knows all is the same guy that sold a painting last year to MBS? You know, MBS is the ruler of Saudi Arabia, right? The guy that has been accused of killing journalists, Khashoggi, Saudi journalist Khashoggi, the Washington Post journalist. Is the same guy that sold a painting last year to MBS for $450 million that was only worth 1.5. So MBS was paying him off. Why? Ideas? Reminder, Trump overruled Congress on Yemen. Starting to smell sweet the way you put it. Listen, these emails are absolutely devastating. I don't know how Trump thought that, you know, these files wasn't going to create like this ravenous downhill slope where the ball just kind of gets bigger as it continues to roll downhill. And it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're talking about Netflix and relationships they have with people at all these different organizations, man. There's so much telling information in here. Love the emails that have confidential in the subject. Hi, Marty. Hope all is well. Noticed the Guardian story about Michael Wolff's new book. Again, Jeffrey Epstein had a one-on-one relationship with Michael Wolff. We seen that, right? I was looking at the email, which states Donald Trump purchased a Palm Beach property Mr. Epstein had planned to buy behind Mr. Epstein's back, and that Mr. Epstein threatened to expose Trump's shady real estate deals. Do you know anything about this? Does Mr. Epstein have any knowledge of illegal or suspicious dealings by President Trump? Also, we plan on running a story this Friday about the Crime Victims' Rights Act suit and the Jane Doe's proposed remedies. The alleged victims want the U.S. Attorney's Office to rescind the immunity provisions in the MPA and to pursue a prosecution against Mr. Epstein and his co conspirators. Can you comment on this? Of course, Jeffrey Epstein gets hold to this. Privileged, 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 redacted. But just put two and two together. Palm Beach property, Donald Trump purchased it, right? MBS, shady real estate deals. There's a whole known thing about real estate deals, specifically where really uber rich people selling properties. Like, for example, I'll just give an example. A house. I believe it was Donald Trump. And this may not be the case now as of 2026, but at one point had sold a house for like the highest amount ever in the United States. An insane, crazy amount, something the house wasn't even worth, right? So they may see like a say you got a $20 million house, but you sell it for $100 million. You wonder, why would somebody pay $100 million for a house that's only worth $20 million? There's a lot of things that you can do to get money into certain people's pockets, to launder certain amounts of money. There's all sorts of little loopholes, right, that you can do up under shady real estate transactions, like selling a home for 5 times more than what it's actually worth, and someone actually paying you $100 million for a $20 million house, for example. Those are known tactics that the uber rich use. I mean, go look it up, right? Not enough time in this live stream to do it, but Donald Trump's been under investigation in the past for his shady real estate deals, including like getting loans and insurance for the appreciated value of a property. Give me $100 million loan because I say the house is worth $100 million, but it's really only worth $20 million, for example, that sort of thing. We've got entire banks that have been literally shut down because of Donald Trump's shady dealings, and that thus exposing other shady deals and transactions. Oh, yes. Look at the Deutsche Bank scandal. But again, you definitely need to go and take a look at these files. A lot of the questions that you may have, you can definitely get answers for yourself. Period. This is a treasure trove, guys. An absolute treasure trove. And the way that, a pleasant way to be able to traverse this treasure trove is going to jmail.world. Okay? So check it out when you get a chance. Like a Trojan horse. Shout out to everybody in the chat as well. Long time no see. Good to see you, Gloria. Shout out to you, babe. Dolly, Emmanuel, everybody in the building, right? Everybody that came through to holler at me. I appreciate you all. I'll see you all on my next live stream for sure. And I do plan to continue to discuss and talk about the Epstein files and specific things that I may find or that are found in the Epstein files. Again, cannot sit up here and act like Trump is this innocent man. Like, again, let's see, how many entries was it? Yeah, 5,800 approximately, 5,808, just in his email. Just in his email. That doesn't include like all of the overall files. This is just in his email. Imagine if you were the FBI officer that was having to go through each and every one of these and choose what to redact and what not to redact. Could you imagine that? Do you think things get accidentally skipped? Somebody's eyes might get a little tired and things kind of just make their way out there. I do. I do. Man, crazy times. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. Shout out to all of you on Twitch, on Twitter, X, I mean, specifically, Facebookers, even the YouTubers, the people, the chat, right? Not the actual overall company. Rumble, all right, because we're streaming everywhere. Get to jmail.world as soon as you can. I'll see you all on the next live stream. Until next time.
The judgment sentence that you are an asshole. The trial is over. Thank you, everybody.
Let's play a game. You have 10 seconds to take all your stuff and get out of my life. 10, 9, 8.
God bless you, motherfucker.
You're really smart. Like really, really, really smart like I am.